This movie started from, at the beginning it was this idea of making something with two generations that usually don't talk together or are separated by time and culture and perspectives in life. So, and starting with this idea, I wrote this story of this man living alone, and at the beginning we don't know exactly why he's alone. He doesn't seem sad, but he's alone, and something seems wrong in his life. And actually, one night he just fall on two young guys, brothers, who just put them into bad things. And actually, he's the only one to have seen them. So they decide to keep him and to how do you say this? To take him in a hostage and leave, but they don't know where to go.
Right.
They don't know what to do, and these two young people are alone, like this man. And as the story evolved, we just learned that this man has something that is not resolved with the death of his son 20 years ago. And as he is in contact with these two young guys, all this past is emerging inside of him, and he's got something to solve with that. And at the opposite, these two young guys, which are very hard with him at the beginning, you know, they start to, the youngest start to recognize in a way the father he doesn't have, because these two young boys lives in foster family, and they lost their parents a few years ago. And actually, the oldest one is not good with this situation, and he's just hitting 18 years old, and he has to leave the foster family.
Right.
So in his head, he have to protect his young brother. But his young brother is stronger than you think.
Right. Yeah.
So everything is turning around this situation, and at the end, this man decide to help them. And we, as the film is going on, we slowly comprehend why he's helping them. And at the end, this story is evolving in a more symbolic and spiritual way. But I won't tell the end.
I know why.
But I won't tell the end of the story. It's a love story. It's really a love story.
Family story.
Developing around a hard situation, but it tends through love and recognition of the importance of the other. It's really a love story.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to define the film as like a road movie with touching story
Yeah.
and a surprise ending.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, it is absolutely correct. It is absolutely correct. For me, it's a road movie. In French, we say a huis clos, you know, where the characters are restrained to a small place, but in a surrounding nature, fantastic and wide nature, which is our nature in Quebec, Canada.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And actually, I wanted to work in opposition, you know, keeping these three characters really tight together with this hard situation, but I decided to place them in a really wide nature and beautiful nature. So the opposition is has something to tell.
I bet this film meant a lot to you because this is your first feature, right? You
Yeah.
also wrote this film.
Yep.
So is there any particular person or thing to inspire you to make this film?
Well, actually, it's a very personal story
Oh.
in a way, because I based my characters on personal experiences. Like this man, well, he's like my uncles and my father. He's from this generation of man who doesn't speak a lot with his child. In the other way, these two young guys, they were like, when I was 20 years old, I used to work with in a place with kids in difficulties, teenagers, and I saw really hard little guys, you know, that have lost everything, their parents, their self-confidence, and everything like this. And so I based mainly my writing on these experiences. And for sure, it's my first feature, so it's a very important part of my life. I spent 6 years working on that, and I refined it. You know, it's like a diamond.
Right. Yeah.
It's because I wanted it to be not only a simple road movie with hard action. I wanted it with lots of symbolic, lots of a sense of spirituality, a sense of universality. It was very important for me that this story can touch anybody on the planet. So I worked a lot to avoid too much dialogues. In a way, it's a kind of, I mean, for me, it's a great story. I think.
And the area, la région, where you make the film have been made, it's the first place when you leave your home, when you went to study.
Yeah.
You come from the country, and it's the first time. Just explain it.
Well, the region where the locations, the main locations where this film have been shot. It's a place where when I left home when I was young, I went there for studying, and this place by the sea with the mountains everywhere, it's always into me. It followed me for my whole life. So when I started to write this story, I decided right away that this story should be in this region. So I went there 3 times to write the story and to lose myself in this place like these characters will do.
Right.
Because sometimes I was just hitting the road and, well, okay, I turn right here and I turn left here and not knowing where I was going. And for me it was it has 2 purposes. The first one was to feel this kind of emotion where when you don't know where you are and where you're going, and the other purpose was to find some extraordinary locations that I found. Yeah.